Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Greenbrier West High School. We are at the Forging Iron Touchdown Terrace here at Greenbrier West. You can see the field right behind me, and super excited to get today started. We got a few players that we're going to be interacting with today, as well as one of the coaches for Greenbrier West. So we're just going to get straight into this thing. I'm going to bring in assistant coach Jared Robertson in with us, and we're going to talk a little bit about what he thinks about the season, how he thinks it's going to go, and maybe some expectations that he has for the players, for the kids, all that good stuff. So let's get straight into this thing. Coach, you excited for today, Coach?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we've got a lot of things that everybody is expecting, obviously missing the postseason, unfortunately, last year. But the year before, coming off of a state championship berth, or at least a state championship appearance berth. So what is your expectations for the season for you going in? I'm going to ask you something simple to start out.
Well, the first thing is we got to get back to winning ball games. Kids have really worked hard in the summer. We had a good first couple weeks, and now we're to the point we need to go scrimmage and play somebody and see where we're at. We got a lot of guys getting an opportunity for playing time right now, but come Monday, we've got to start narrowing that down and figuring out who's going to play on Friday nights. So, last year it wasn't a terrible season, but it was a disappointment from our standards because we expect to be in the playoffs every year, and it didn't happen last year. So that's our number one goal, is get back to the playoffs and see what we can do.
Yeah. And that's one thing Coach O and Coach Goddard mentioned with all the state playoff appearances on the back wall. There's so many of them, and that's the Greenbrier West standard right there, is for us to make it to the postseason every year. I mean,
right.
that's the goal every single year. But one thing about it that is different from this team compared to a lot of Greenbrier West teams in the past is the amount of experience that we have on the team. We are loaded with freshmen and sophomores this year. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but I was looking at a post on Facebook last week, and we were loaded between the two classes.
Lot.
I mean, I think we had 13 or 14 sophomores, and then another probably 17 freshmen. It's unbelievable how many freshmen and sophomores we had this year.
The good thing is, if you go back and look at how those guys did at middle school the last couple of years, our middle school program's done well. They've won a lot of games, and you can see why with the kids that are here. We got a lot of young kids that can run. We got some young kids up front that are fighting for playing time, and we want the best 11 on the field.
Yes.
If you're a freshman and you're the one of the best 11, you're going to play. And
exactly.
You can look at Ben Butler. We talked about in practice yesterday. Ben Butler was a freshman last year, played a lot of snaps.
Yes, he did.
Colton Carruthers played a lot of snaps. It is what it is, but, survival of the fittest. Every day is a competition.
If you're going to be willing to put in the work, you get time to play. It's truly as simple as that. And obviously, some kids have to put more time in the weight room because they don't grow as quickly and as fast as others. But still, at the end of the day, if you show heart, you show hustle, and you show that you have the skill to be able to make it onto the field, you guys are going to put them in there. That's just
absolutely. That's, as a coach, you would rather have seniors and juniors because they've been in that weight room longer. They've had more years in your program.
Yes.
But talent wins out.
Exactly.
So sometimes these freshmen that maybe not physically ready to play are on the field playing because they have that heart you're talking about.
Exactly. And I mean, it means a lot more. It kind of stinks in those moments whenever you have those high pressure situations because sometimes they get a little bit nervous. They might be a little shaky with the ball. But overall, at the end of the day, like you said, put in the most talented players and put in the people that are going to, at the end of the day, give you results, because that's what we're looking for at Greenbrier West. So, yeah, I mean, those are some of the biggest standards. So I don't think this affects Greenbrier West near as much. You would be the one person that would know about this. But the new NIL deals that came up, is there anything NIL-wise that you believe will affect Greenbrier West in any way, shape, or form?
I mean, it's one of those things that has been coming. When it started in college a couple years ago, you knew it was going to filter down. You've read about other states have already dealt with it at our level. I've read a couple articles. I watched Mr. Ryan's interview yesterday, talking with some media outlets about it. I can't say that I know a lot about it, but I know basically if you look at it, it's not really school-related. It's businesses or something like that in your area. Now, no one that I know of has reached out to anyone here in Charmco, but you never know. So it's kind of one of those things that we'll have to figure it out as we have to deal with it. And right now, no one knows a whole lot about it, but I would say some of the bigger schools in the state probably already has some things in place. So
Exactly. And that's why I was curious to ask you about it, because there was so many. I seen one post on Facebook where there was a rumor that they were giving away cars to some of the schools in West Virginia if they did. I forget I don't think they mentioned the school or mentioned the people that were doing it, but it's crazy that you can now do things like that to get kids in your program, to get those 5-star recruits, whether they're out of state, even out of the country. It's crazy.
I saw Coach Moore over at Midland Trail. He does a great job.
Yes, I saw that too.
I saw his interview talking about pepperoni rolls from Heiko. So
that was great.
Coach Agee and Miss Agee, they both reached out to me last night talking about maybe we'll get some Possum Holler pizza deals for kids here.
Yes.
You never know. It's one of those things that you laugh about, but in all seriousness, things are going to happen. So
exactly,
we'll figure it out as that comes. I don't really know what to say about it a whole lot right now.
No, well, I mean, that's the thing. It's so new to all of us,
right?
And even in college, even when you get to D1 and those Power 5 FBS schools, even those guys are brand new to the NIL at the end of the day. I mean, it's only been going around, I believe, for about 5 years. As intense as it is right now. So it's absolutely crazy to me to see all these different crazy deals that are going on. And the fact that they're talking about pepperoni rolls is hilarious to me. I love it. It's so funny. But yeah, who knows? I mean, you never know if there will be a local business that comes in.
And, and if more the merrier, if that's a possibility for kids in our area, it's not school related, so it's kind of outside of our hands a little bit.
Yes,
we just got to make sure everybody's following the rules and doing it right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I read the rules about it, and it wasn't super in depth. I think there's only 6 PowerPoints to it, but like you said, one of the big rules was that it can't be school related.
Right.
So, say for instance, if you're sponsored by Western Auto, or if you were recruited by Western Auto with an NIL deal, you can't come in with any Western Auto gear into practice.
Right.
At Greenbrier West. That's
yeah.
You're completely associated with them outside of school. It's not inside of it. So it's pretty cool that you can basically create yourself a little business outside of school and make yourself a little extra money before you get into college. Maybe get yourself some college scholarships.
Hey, you never know. Anything that can help these kids with life. That's the landscape we're faced with now. Mm-hmm. And you see how much colleges are struggling to deal with it still after those several years. It's going to take high schools a little while to figure out what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
In some of these states, high school kids are getting a lot of money from places. And
a lot of it.
I kind of have mixed feelings about it because I don't want it to defeat the purpose of our game here. Is to help kids become better people, first of all. And,
yes.
You don't want it to be, well, everybody's going to college. Most kids aren't going to play in college. And that's, we want it to be a great experience for them in high school to play football.
Exactly. And that's what matters the most, is being able to grow these kids into young men and being able to teach them principles that I was able to learn in Greenbrier West, that you taught me and all these other coaches here behind us taught. And that's what's most important, because like you said, at the end of the day, I mean, I didn't go to college. There's a bunch of kids that don't go to college.
Right.
And they need to learn those founding principles of, hey, this is what I need to learn for the rest of my life. This is what I'm going to be doing. And this is how I'm going to be impacting the world, whether it's here at Greenbrier West on the western end of the county, or if you're going all the way to California. It doesn't matter. Everybody's going to be affected differently.
That's a fine line you're facing with high school athletics right now with how things are changing. Obviously, you want opportunities for kids that are going to go play in college.
Yes, absolutely.
We have a lot of flex days. We have a lot of expansion from what it was a decade ago even. Mm-hmm. But you also don't want to forget, you can't focus so much on that. I don't know what percent of it is that plays in college, but it's not very high.
No,
let's say it's 5%, which is probably not that much. Mm-hmm. You don't want to focus so much on that 5%. You forget the other 95, and that's kind of a concern I think from athletic directors all across the state. We got to make sure we realize this is for all your kids, not just the ones that are the best that are going to go play at the next level.
Exactly. And obviously the spotlight, for the most part, is going to be on the kids who perform, the kids who are the stat leaders. But you're going to have kids on the depth chart that never get to play, and those guys are almost kicked to the wayside in a way from a media standpoint. But that's never the case. We never want that to be the case.
Right.
Those kids are just important as your star athletes. Whether you're a 5-star, whether you're a 1-star, or even if you're at Greenbrier West and nobody's recruiting you.
Right.
It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody is equally as important as the next.
Yes.
So, But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else crazy, because that NIL thing really got me off track.
Yeah, that's really breaking news this week in high school in West Virginia, no doubt about it.
Exactly. You guys will say I saw Play Sheet covering it big time, because they were talking about, like you said, with the pepperoni rolls over at Heiko, which was absolutely hilarious. If there's one principle that you want to teach to these kids before they leave Greenbrier West, no matter who they are, what's that principle?
Well, it's kind of a couple things that go together. You know, the first thing is hard work.
Yes.
Again, whether you're the star of the team or one of the, I don't want to say worst, because they're all trying to get better, but no matter what level you are, you have to learn hard work. Because in the next step of your life, whatever your job or occupation is, the harder you work, the better off you're going to be.
Exactly.
The other thing that's great about athletics is the teamwork aspect. You know, in football, you're trying to get 11 guys to do their same job, or to do their job on the same play, and it's difficult. But your better teams come when you have 11 guys that have that communication and that feel for each other, and that focus to have that teamwork. And they kind of go together, but I would say that's the biggest thing, the hard work aspect and the teamwork aspect of athletics.
I love that. And it's one beautiful thing is it's not just the athletics or the responsibilities that these kids have. It's whenever you're putting them into play, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's them even talking to their teachers throughout their everyday life, being respectful, being a good communicator throughout their school, whether they are even more of a quiet, held back person, or whether they are more outgoing. It doesn't matter what kind of a person they are. Every person is going to affect the community differently.
Absolutely.
Some people are computer geeks. Some people like to do blue collar work and they want to go to the state, work on the state road. You never know what these kids are going to do through their everyday life. And that's another thing too, whenever you were talking about the kids with athletics and working hard as they possibly can. It doesn't matter if you're what personnel you're running, because you're going to sometimes have to have a kid that doesn't normally play that you see a certain type of personnel and throw them into the game.
Absolutely, and that it comes down to matchups and stuff like that. And you're right. Some weeks you may not play much, but the next week we're spreading it out more, and you're a quick guy and you're going to play more. But we do, and I think not just football. I think across the board here at West, our coaches try to get our athletes to understand you're kept at a little bit of a higher standard when you walk in that building.
Yes.
An obvious example is if you're acting up in math class, the teacher's going to go find me or go find Coach Goddard or go find Coach Price and say, hey, can we talk to them about, and it's not, people say, oh, well, your coaches are just running them. No, your coaches set those expectations that sometimes our kids don't realize. And if you're not doing your job in class, at home, treating people the right way, then it comes back to on your football team, and it does affect your playing time eventually. And I think our kids have done a great job of buying in and understanding that. Not that we don't have hiccups along the way, but our kids do a really good job. We have high GPAs. We don't have many people get in trouble, stuff like that. And it's really good to have our kids respond that way.
Yeah. And that's so much easier said than done, because you're always going to have some kids that are either affected by things at home, and it's going to affect the way that they act in the classroom, act with their teachers, or even with the principals.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how much discipline you give to them. Some kids, that's how they're going to act. That's really how it is at the end of the day. But at Greenbrier West, that's a standard, as you were saying earlier. It doesn't matter if you're one of the best players on the team. If you're doing something and you're acting up, it's y'all's job as a coaching staff, and you guys have shown this in the past, that you're going to get punished.
Right.
You're not supposed to be acting up, and your job is not to act up. Your job is to show up every day, give 150%, whether you're on the field, whether you're off the field. You could even be talking to a teacher or even at home with your parents. Our job and y'all's job is to teach these kids the standard, and that's one beautiful thing about Greenbrier West, and one thing you guys have done a great job at.
Absolutely. So. And you got to give credit to the kids for buying into that. And
yes.
It's all about a response, and peer pressure becomes part of that, because the leaders of the team don't want someone, one of our freshmen that's new to Greenbrier West getting in trouble and looking bad on the rest of us. And it's a culture that's been created that I think we've been really, really good about here in Charmco.
Well, seriously. And one thing I heard about last year's baseball team, I'm not going to name names, obviously, but there was a situation where one of the kids got in trouble, one of the underclassmen, and they made all the kids run. And that's one huge thing that is really teaching these kids from seniors all the way down to freshmen, is that, hey, if your freshmen are messing up, then your seniors are going to have to pay the price too.
Right.
So that teaches, as you were saying, everybody to be held under that standard, to teach each other that, hey, don't make this mistake. Don't do something stupid. Act like you're supposed to. Be smart. Be intelligent. And go throughout your everyday life and make the smart decisions.
And you're back to that accountability aspect as part of that teamwork.
Yes.
That's kind of why we're kind of like that. You mess up, we all mess up. You do well, we all do well. And it's good and bad at times. But that's how our kids want to be, because, that leadership, and that's why you need some senior leaders or junior leaders that have played for years. You need those kids to be leaders in your locker room to stay on top of that kind of thing and not let things become – everyone's going to have small issues. You don't want the small issues to become big issues.
Exactly. And you're going to have some people that lead by telling, and you're going to have some that lead by example.
Absolutely.
Couldn't think of the word example.
Yeah.
But still, it doesn't matter which one you are. The kids need to listen, and they need to understand and respect the fact that they have leaders that they have to listen to. And that's, as you were saying, one important thing is doing it by the players, because there's only so much you guys can do as coaches.
Absolutely.
The kids have to be able to buy into the vision that you guys are trying to sell them.
Right.
So, well, Coach, I appreciate you very much. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for being here today, buddy.
Yes, sir, brother. I appreciate it. That was Coach Jared Robertson, assistant coach for Greenbrier West. And also, we have a few more of them that are coming in today as well, a few more seniors, if you will. You guys want to come on over? I'll get you guys. Don't be shy. What's going on? I'll take you out. Yeah, that's fine. We'll do one-on-one. Alrighty, guys. We are here today with Emery Sanford. Emery, are you excited today, man?
Yeah, pretty good practice.
Pretty good practice. Awesome, man. So after playing at Greenbrier West for a few years, what's one thing that you're super excited to be able to get into your senior year at West? Maybe even some future plans that you have?
I've loved playing here. I didn't play all 4 years. I wish I would have. I wish somebody would have made me come out here and play, because it's great. The coaches, awesome. Players, awesome. I don't think there's a bad thing about it. I mean, maybe that hill over there.
That's everybody. Yeah, nobody likes that daggone hill when you got to run them after practice or middle of practice. So do you have any maybe future college plans? You're not going to college? Have you undecided?
Probably undecided right now. Maybe the military. That's probably my biggest thing right now.
Gotcha. And that's okay to be undecided. I mean, there's people, me for example, I didn't figure out what I was going to do till a year after I was done with high school. That's what happens, man. As long as you're doing whatever God's plan is for your life, then you're going where you need to be, man. So if you could choose one thing about this football team that you think is unique, something you've never experienced before, what would it be? I know it's a loaded question, so I'll let you think about it for a second.
Honestly, it's got to be the brotherhood between all the players. I mean, I don't even have to think about it,
That's awesome.
I mean, I don't think there's ever any time that I've ever been, somebody's not like me on the football team. I mean, maybe they did, but, they don't show it.
Yes.
It's all a brotherhood out here. We're all family.
Exactly. And you're going to have disagreements as brothers. That's how it works. But one thing is being able to shove that off to the wayside, being able to say, hey, you did this to me. Let's shake hands about it. Let's hug about it. Maybe even have a few words about it. But after that, let each other go on without your day, and boom, you're good to go after that. So I love that about you guys. And so one thing, what positions are you going to be playing this year?
Right now, tight end and defensive end.
Defensive end, gotcha. Is there any particular position that you enjoy playing more than the others?
Defensive end for sure.
You like being able to hit the quarterback. Yeah. You like being able to get there as quickly as possible, dude.
It's fun.
Yeah. You playing any other sports besides football?
Probably wrestling this year. I wrestled 3 years, so probably.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't figure you were playing basketball this year unless that changed. Wish I could drag you into basketball, but it is what it is. Not everybody enjoys dribbling the ball.
I'm really good at it.
No, that's okay. So if you could take one thing away, your message to all the freshmen, all the sophomores, and all the underclassmen of Greenbrier West, or even the people watching right now, what would that one thing be that you could tell them?
Honestly, if I was to tell any of these freshmen anything, it would be to play all 4 years. I wish I would have. I missed out last year and or year before last, and we went to the state championship, and I didn't get to be a part of that. I wish I would have played.
Yeah, and it would have meant a lot, obviously, for you to be able to experience that. Well, Emery, I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm sure we'll be annoying you later on during the season. Alrighty. Lucas, you want to go and come on, buddy? What's going on, man? Alrighty, next up, also another senior. We're doing senior interviews today. This is Lucas Dorsey, one of our guys on the line here at Greenbrier West. Lucas, tell them a little bit about yourself. about your year at Greenbrier West and how you're feeling going into the start of your senior season.
Well, I just started playing football last year, and it's been a learning curve, especially going from playing zero sports to this. But it's a great time. Everybody's nice. You mess up, they encourage you to do better. It's a great time.
What's one thing that sports has taught you throughout your couple years of playing? I mean, even though you're new into sports, what's something that it's taught you that's different from maybe outside of the classroom? Because obviously academics are important, but sports is a whole nother level of teamwork aspect, being able to develop your personal self. What would it be?
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
That's a
you
good
got to
one.
learn things in life, and a lot of the times you'll have to ask questions for it.
That's awesome, buddy. And if you could choose one thing maybe that you're thinking about doing after your senior year, well, what would it be? That's one thing that a lot of people love to see is you guys being able to pick what you're doing after college, even if you're undecided. So what would it be?
As of now, I plan to go to college for IT work.
Nice.
So
Same thing, buddy. Let's go. That's what I'm doing right now. That's awesome, man. It's a great field to get in. Let me know if you need any help with it afterwards. It's a great field. The people in it are great. So that's awesome. So if you could choose maybe one teammate that has inspired you to get into football, because especially if you haven't played sports throughout your whole life, there had to have been a teammate or maybe even a coach, parent, guardian, or somebody that has helped you get to where you're at along the way. Who's that one person that's helped you?
the person who convinced me to start playing was Logan Berry.
Okay.
So he convinced me to start playing last year, and I was a little iffy on it. Didn't know what to expect, but I'm glad I did.
That's awesome, man. And it's really hard to be able to get into sports, especially after not being in the spotlight, if you want to call it that, through your life. So that's awesome that you decided to play. So is there anything exciting, maybe a drill that you really enjoy throughout the practices?
I just like hitting.
You just like hitting? That's it, dude. That's one thing. If you're a lineman, that is one thing that everybody wants to hear. If you like hitting, that's what matters the most. Alrighty. I'll ask you one last question. I like to end this question out with everybody. If you could give one piece of advice to any of the freshmen or any of the underclassmen at Greenbrier West or anybody watching on live, what would it be?
Play a sport. Even if it's not football, it'll teach you some things, get you better in shape. It's just a good idea to play.
That's awesome, man. Well, Lucas, I appreciate you, brother. We'll have to talk about that IT work at some point, man. Alrighty. Cameron, Patrick, which one of you guys wants to be the next victim? What's up, big dog? How's it going, man?
Good, how are you?
Doing good, Cameron. This is Cameron Parker right here. I was fortunate enough to be able to watch Cameron play pretty much since his freshman year, so that's pretty exciting. So what are you feeling going into your senior year, Cameron? You excited?
I'm excited, yeah. Gonna miss it. Love sports, you know.
That's awesome. Is football your favorite sport, you would say?
Iffy between this and wrestling.
Wrestling, yeah. I was going to say, you've always loved wrestling and all.
Wrestling, yeah.
Yeah, which is important. So if you could be able to pick one coach that has inspired you throughout your 4 years in high school, what would it be?
Coach Goddard, yeah. He's always pushed me in every sport to my max ability and helped me get to where I am now.
If there's one edge you would say that gives you above the rest of the players, or even one thing that you would say that people should be excited and looking forward to watching you play this year, what is that one ability or your one expertise, if you want to call it, that really stands you out above everybody else?
Well, good tackling form.
Awesome.
From wrestling, you know, double leg form kind of translates to tackling.
You're not afraid to hit, are you?
No.
I
I can't wait.
Yeah, and that's what matters about football is if you're not scared to hit, that's half the problem right there. A lot of these kids are athletic or they might be super speedy, but it doesn't matter how athletic and speedy you are if you're scared to hit a guy. So that's awesome. And plus, you're a little bit lower to the ground, which makes it easier for you to be able to get that leverage, be able to hit guys hard, which matters a lot. So if you could tell these kids and tell these parents one thing that you've been able to learn over your 4 years in high school being in sports, because we don't have a lot of seniors this year that have played all 4 years in high school, especially with two sports. So what's one thing that you could tell them about your years at Greenbrier West that maybe stands out above the rest? One thing that you've learned.
Well, I've learned that the harder you work, the easier it gets, you know.
That's fire. I love that.
It's very true, you know. First couple years here, I didn't work really hard in sports, you know, and I wasn't very good, to be honest. And I started working hard last year and helped a lot, you know.
And one thing I've noticed, too, is the weight room. The weight room, I can tell you've gotten a lot bigger
Yes, sir.
from the weight room, especially since your freshman year. What's one lift that you have in the weight room that's really been, it gets you fired up whenever you go into
Bench
it?
press, yeah. I love me some bench press.
You got anything else in there maybe? Bench press is a huge one though, obviously.
I like cleans too. They do a lot for you, yeah.
That's awesome. Being able to get that movement, being able to get that power movement up there. So that's awesome. Well, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked the other guys. Don't worry, guys. They're putting the tents up, all that good stuff to keep the rain out. Getting a little bit wet here, but that's okay. If you have one piece of advice that you could give to any of the freshmen or underclassmen here at Greenbrier West, or anybody watching, something to inspire them and give them information or inspiration, what would it be?
Just work hard and keep going, It gets easier the harder you work, so.
That's awesome, man. Well, Cameron, I appreciate you, brother.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
excited to see you play and dominate this year.
I can't wait.
Let's go.
Thank you.
That's Cameron Parker from Greenbrier West, guys. And we have our last, but absolutely not our last senior, Patrick. What's going on, Mr. Tharp? How's it going, brother?
Good. How about you, brother?
Doing good, buddy. So, you've obviously been playing sports for a couple years, and I could tell you've gotten bigger in the weight room
Since
as well.
sophomore year.
Since sophomore year. And, dude, and that matters a lot. Even if you haven't played since your freshman year, it still means a lot to be able to get that 3 years of experience. Coming from me, I only played 2 years when I was in high school, and as one of the guys was saying earlier, if I could have played all 4 years, that's probably my biggest regret too. That's what you were saying earlier, Emery, which means a lot, being able to get those 4 years of experience. So if there was a teacher that has inspired you a lot inside of the classroom, who would it be? I know you haven't started your senior year out this year, and you might have some different teachers coming in, but who would that one teacher be that has really inspired you and stuck out above the rest?
I have to give a shout out to Miss Bowles.
Let's go. Yeah, I love Miss
Even though
Bowles.
she doesn't work here anymore, but she always told me to go for what I wanted.
Miss Bowles was a huge inspiration, and I never had her as a teacher either, but it cracked me up because I'd be walking through the halls. She would always call me Albert, and it cracked me up every time I was walking
Always in
through
all
the halls.
halls, making people laugh.
Always, man. And that's one thing that a lot of teachers don't understand is that you need to be buddy buddies with the student. Obviously, you're going to have those times where you got to discipline. But if you can be nice to them, and if you can give them that little fire that's underneath of them, it means a whole lot to us. It
And
really
also,
does.
it helps them in class, too.
It
They
really
would want
does.
to do the work instead of being yelled at the whole time. Then nobody wants to do anything.
Exactly, dude. If you could pick one subject that has really stood out to you that you enjoy, even if it's an elective, what would it be? You can take your time. You're good.
Probably, honestly, I couldn't tell you.
You can-
I have enjoyed being in Price's class. Hearing the stories he'd be telling us. Always great.
Price does have a lot of stories, especially about, he loves talking about rocks, his rocks,
Always,
finding his rock.
always.
Dude, I love it. It cracks me up every time he talks about it. So I guess it'd be math then. I guess that kind of
In between math and science.
math and science. Okay, there you go. A lot of people would probably say weightlifting, or mine would be lunch, but still.
Lunch is pretty good, I won't lie.
No, yeah. I was gonna say you can't go wrong with the pizza and the corn. You can't. Always been
Buffalo
a staple.
pizza?
Yes, man. Oh my goodness.
There
Get
every
you
day.
dipping in some ranch. Yes,
there.
man. Oh my gosh. So, if there's one drill, I asked one of the guys here earlier, one drill that really stands out to you that you enjoy doing, what would it be?
I like doing the ladder drills.
You're doing the ladder
Helps
drills.
me my feet work because whenever I first started, I didn't get to play my freshman year because where I transferred to this school,
Yes.
I didn't get to go, so I couldn't play football. But my sophomore year, I was really slow on my feet.
Where did you transfer from?
Cleveland.
Just from Cleveland. Got
Yeah.
nice. I was gonna say I remember you coming from out of state. I was like, you're not one of these transfers. Do you like it better here, or you like it better in Cleveland? Sorry to put you on the spot, but
You always miss where you used to live, but
Yes.
you grow to like it.
that makes sense. 100%. Is there anything maybe environmental wise that's different from here in Cleveland?
Yes, the air. The air is a lot cleaner because in Cleveland there's a lot more factories. Like we lived near a steel mill,
Okay.
so there was a lot of smoke and stuff always.
Made it a lot harder to breathe and maybe even a lot harder to train whenever you were younger in elementary school.
Yeah.
So is there maybe a teammate that has been able to inspire you throughout your 3 years of playing sports?
I would also have to probably say Logan Berry. He's always been there, giving me a good job, and especially telling me what I did wrong. And even if he has to be mean about it, I understand he does it out of love.
Dude, Barry's the man. Barry is the man. I mean, there's a reason he's the leader of the line, man. So what are going to be your positions this year as of right now?
As of right now, defensive tackle and left guard for offense.
Awesome. So you get a little bit of offensive and defensive snaps going on there. You think you might be able to do any pass catching this year? Maybe
an interception, bro.
maybe an interception.
I'm not the quickest whenever it comes to running.
That's okay. You have to have those guys on the line. You have to. They're just as important as the tight ends, wide receivers, running backs, whatever you try to put them in. So, like I said, I've already asked the other guys this question. But if there's one piece of advice that you could give to any of the freshmen, underclassmen, or people watching the live stream right now, what is that piece of advice?
Pay attention to what coaches when they say fundamental. Because fundamental really does. It's really everything.
Down to the nitty gritty. That's what matters. Because if you can get down that fundamental stuff, it don't matter how good you are at your technique. It doesn't. Well, the technique is part of fundamentals, but it doesn't matter how good you are outside of the classroom. If you're being a butt inside of the practice field and everywhere else, and you're not paying attention to what the coaches are telling you, you're not going to learn nothing.
You got to pay attention.
Well, Mr. Tharp, I appreciate you, brother. It's good talking to you, man. Guys, that's Patrick Tharp from Greenbrier West, the last senior there with us today. I mean, you guys saw every single one of them. We have a fantastic group of seniors this year, and I was fortunate enough to not only be with these seniors in the classroom, but I was also fortunate enough to be able to be with them on the playing field, which means so much. Even though I wasn't a football player myself, these guys mean a lot to this program, and it's amazing to be able to watch them grow throughout their high school career and be able to make things happen. So we have a lot of things that are going to be coming. We're going to be doing this Touchdown Terrace show weekly, which is extremely exciting. So make sure you guys drop a follow if you haven't already. Like the channel, follow the Greenbrier Valley channel. We have a whole lot of things going on. And also, if you guys would be interested in sponsoring the Touchdown Terrace show, make sure you hit us up down below. I'm super excited to get with you guys later. It's going to be fun. We have a whole lot of things going on later on this year, and we're going to be covering Greenbrier West sports a whole lot this season. I love every single one of y'all. Appreciate you guys for coming in. Until next time, God bless.